Hi, welcome to another TSM video tip. This is just a little tip to show you guys what I use as my daily carries when I go out on a shoot. Getting into photography can be an expensive and daunting task. So, what I like to do is I like to show people what they could be shooting with to learn the basics and to get the fundamentals of what they need. So, we'll start with what you need before anything else is a tripod. A tripod is going to be great for keeping your shots steady, and it lets you enjoy the moments, be able to guide people, move your hands in expressive ways when you're talking to a client without having to worry about the camera. Now, there is leashes that you can use that go around the camera, and that's another way you can do it. But I just feel more secure when I have my tripods with me. But sometimes a tripod's not going to be, you're not actually going to be able to use this in certain circumstances where you go into a building that's very tight and there's not a lot of places to set up a tripod. Now, this one has the capability to become a monopod, which this middle part actually becomes part of this, and it actually separates itself, and then it's one pod, and you can pretty much go everywhere with this because it pretty much only takes up the same footprint you will take up. So that's a pretty awesome feature. Going into this, we can go across. You're gonna need some kind of an audio, and I don't endorse any of the like. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I just happen to like the companies, and that's the reason why I use these. You can find these all different types and all different shapes and sizes. I just like Rode equipment. I've been a fan of their products for a long time, even though they have kind of let me down a couple of times over the years, but I still stick with them because, hey, brand loyalty, right? Uh, Rode mics are really good. These are lavaliers, and these have a really far distance. I mount this straight to my camera, and my camera becomes amazing. It does cinematic quality from so far away. The picture's amazing. It can also shoot video, which I'm going to go into this. This is the reason why I have these out here. If you're just getting into photography, I have other cameras. I have like, Canons and all this other stuff. I'm not a fan of them. A lot of the times they try to sell you an upgraded version of the thing that you really don't need. So make sure before you buy a camera, you do the research on what it is that they're trying to give you for the price. Because if they're going to try to sell you a camera that's $5,000, there needs to be $5,000 worth of equipment that you're going to use every day. Otherwise, it's not worth the expense. So for me, this camera, you can find it right now on eBay for a used version of it, around $600. And that's amazing for this quality of this camera. It battles, if not beats, all of my other cameras. This camera is a Blackmagic, and I love Blackmagic. Don't get me wrong; this is an amazing camera. But the quality is just so much better in this. The only problem is that it breaks this. Whenever I use this camera, it breaks it down into smaller little bits, so it can only record for 30 minutes, which is the rule for most general photography cameras. They can't really record video like what a video camera can, but this will teach you editing because you have to put the videos together to bring them into something that's fully functioning. But it's not hard to do, and especially with today, editing software is just amazing all across the board. But this is what I would recommend for anybody that's just getting into it, or even a pro that just really needs a secondary backup camera, or even a pro that really likes this camera because I've been doing this for quite a while, and I love my Olympus camera. Like this is my favorite camera to shoot with, and like I said, I have other cameras I don't even use because this camera right here has satisfied all my needs when it comes to it. It has all of the capabilities of being able to run lavalier mics. It has I could do any kind of flash, timer. I could do any kind of remote control. I can do tethering with it. It has every single function that I need. It is a battle tank. It's tried and true. And the video quality is better, in my opinion. It's better on this than it is on this. Now, this has a cinematic look that everybody's like, oh, it's the bokeh and the cinematic. I can get the same thing by using a simple a cinematic lens that can attach straight to that. So that's another thing. Make sure that what you're shooting isn't make sure they're not charging you for a feature you're never going to use, which is like, some of these, they're like, oh, our cameras can shoot underwater and in space. And well, that's fine. I'm not going to be James Bond today, and I'm definitely not going to be Buzz Aldrin. So I'm going to sit here and do my little wedding shots perfectly fine with something like this that's going to start me out for $600, get me ready to go shoot weddings, go shoot any kind of thing that I know that I need a dependable camera. This is going to work a lot better. This is amazing. Horrible battery life. It has great quality. If you're running a battery pack, this is a really good camera. So I turned this into a really small rig. I've got my handle. It's basically just something fun that I can build onto. But this right here is my everyday shooter. All day, every day, this is what's in my bag. This little guy right here is the same thing as this guy, but it's a smaller package. This is, these are the studio cameras, and these are actually really cool. You put a little hard shell case on these, and these become a really great portable camera you can just take with you. The only problem with this that I don't like is the buttons are very small to try to get to. There is no back screen, so you have to add a screen. And by the time you get done with your kit, you're getting yourself something as heavy as probably something like this. So just kind of look around before you go purchasing these cameras, because these are really fun. Don't get me wrong. I love these cameras. These are kind of my go-to whenever I do my podcast setup or anything like that, because I can actually use an external monitor onto them, and that makes them really fun. But if I'm going out on a day-to-day shoot, this is what my bag consists of. This is the OMD EM1X. I don't know if you can see that there. That is the EM1X. I love this camera. And it's a micro four thirds camera. You can pretty much use any of your micro four thirds lenses, and there's a variety of them. You can use Panasonic brand, you can use Olympus. It's interchangeable. So adjusting to your camera needs, I think, is the most important thing. You want battery life. This has a battery that has hot swap batteries, so you can pull out your batteries on the go, recharge, jump back into the shoot, and not have to worry about anything, not miss a beat. Whereas some of the cameras are a lot harder to swap out batteries. Like these are real easy, don't get me wrong. These are these little tiny batteries that are on the back, and they're pretty quick to hot swap out, but they don't really last as long. So that's the problem with those batteries. Now you can get a battery pack like this that'll extend the range for, gobs. I have batteries that I hot swap in between. This camera is really good when it comes to continuous long shooting, and that's really great, but how often are you really doing that? I mean, to be honest. So that's a really good way to go. Another good real thing that you can get, this is a simple recorder that has XLRs that can go into the sides, so this can hold 4. This right here is basically your podcast in a hand. You can take this pretty much anywhere and basically shoot your podcast just with this right here. So sometimes this is a good little piece to have in your bag just in case. If one of your cameras goes down, you can at least get the audio from it, and it'll be amazing. You can run these straight into this. You can do all kinds of different mix and matches with this. Always have a pen with you. Clients will ask you stuff. You'll have to write stuff down. It's always an important thing. Flashlights are really good and important. I think this is my top camera accessory bags. These are the things I think if you're going to really get into photography and you're going to start this, you really need to learn to manage your money in the correct way, and don't buy the stuff that looks shiny and looks amazing. It's a trap. It looks great. It looks fantastic. But in the long run, the battle-tested tank is always going to stand true more than any of this other stuff. So that's just your little tip for the day. If you like what I'm saying, give us a like. Oh, yeah. Get yourself a Rode microphone. These are really fun to do interviews with. Other than that, yep, that's been our tip. So enjoy. Hope you guys like the video, and like, subscribe, and share. Bye.